Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hypergamous Journey. My name is Denise. At this channel, we discuss dating advice from a hypergamous lens. Hypergamy is the cultural practice tradition of dating and marrying a man of a higher social and economic level. I share with you my personal dating experiences. I would like to think my wisdom, my insights, and my personal opinions as I travel on this hypergamous journey with you. Today, I would like to discuss two emotions, love and fear. A little backstory, I was a member of a non-denominational church for about a little over 10 years here in the Atlanta area. That church was based on the unity teachings. And so there I learned about, two emotions, love and fear, and anything that's not love. We can call it anger, we can call it sadness, but basically it's some form of fear on some level. So what got me thinking about this was a TikTok video by this YouTube influencer her name is Swan Teal. And so she's just very, spiritually evolved from her teachings. So I'm not judging her, saying it's authentic or not. But, we really get to see who we are as people. Not talking about Teal Swan, not talking about her, but just let's say for me, I really get to see who I am as a person when things are not going right? When things are not going the way that I anticipate they should go or the way I expect them to. And I want it to go my way. But I have learned over the years that there's always some universal plan, right? There's a universal plan to align things that are for my higher good. They may not feel like they're for my higher good, but that's the point. They're there for my higher good. They just sometimes don't feel good. So I ask myself, is this love or is this fear? When I choose thoughts, or when we make decisions that make us feel good, I feel that's a form of self-love. We're not making any decisions that's going to make us feel bad, put us in a uncompromising, or compromising. Yes, we're not going to make any decisions that's going to put us in a compromising situation. We're going to lovingly set our boundaries with our friends, family, coworkers. But once we do, and we feel very proud of ourselves in that moment for doing a self-loving thing, setting a self-loving boundary with whomever, and then maybe 15 minutes later, or maybe not even that long, but a couple of minutes later, we're replaying in our mind what we could have done differently or could have said differently. And if you're used to doing this, okay, then maybe you don't do it. But if you're new to doing this, you have this tape recording that's playing in your mind. It's playing in your mind what you could have done, what you could have said differently. Did I hurt that person's feeling? As a former people pleaser, I used to do a lot of that. But the thing is that we have to choose love over fear. We have to choose self-love over fear. When we experience anger, disappointment, sadness, about a decision that was made for us that we may perceive as against us, we have to dig deep and say, why? It's just 3 small letters, a 3-letter word, why? So let me give you an example. At work, I was asked to participate in this big event. And my department did not initiate the event. It's initiated by another department, but our department was asked to help assist. So I thought, well, okay, it's not our event. We've been asked to assist. Well, what about the administrative assistant for the event? You know, the person who is organizing everything has an administrative assistant, so why isn't she involved? Just like I'm involved. And I was becoming resentful of it, to be honest. And I know I have a history of pulling these events off. I only did one time, but it was a success. So here I had been dragged into another one. And so I had to ask myself, why are you resentful? Because on the surface, it looks like, well, if I have to do some organizing of it, then the other person should too. And I believe that strongly. I've mentioned it, and finally, people are listening to me. I've had to talk about it twice with my supervisor, who didn't seem to be able to make any headway. And to her credit, you know, maybe she forgot or whatever. So when the opportunity presented itself for me to speak directly with the event organizer, I brought it up. And she said, oh, great. Thank you for letting me know. I didn't know. But if I had kept my mouth closed and continued to be resentful, then I would just be harming myself, right? So what is so it's more than just resentment. I had to go deep and see, okay, so why are you resentful? And what it boiled down to is this. I was in fear that I would be responsible for the whole event, and if something happened, then it would be my fault. That's it. That was the fear. So by me bringing in the other person, then some of the responsibility regarding logistics is shared with another individual, so we can take certain parts of the logistics and be responsible for our own responsibilities, own tasks for the event. And that makes much more sense to me. And my fear was that I was going to be ignored, that I was going to be dismissed. But as part of my personality, you're going to have to pretty much tell me, shut up and sit down, for me to be ignored, because my concerns are going to be addressed, even if you have to say, shut up and sit down. My concerns are going to be addressed. So that was my fear. So the loving part of me was like, oh, this would be a great event for the campus. Oh, this would be really nice to have these students and professors get together and share their experiences with this event. But the fearful part of me was like, this is a big event. If something goes wrong logistically, it's all on me. And I'm a perfectionist. So my fear of failure and it not going well was like off the roof. But I talked myself down, and I'm going to get the other person to come on in, or at least try. And if it doesn't work the way I want it to work, it's okay. I'm going to do what I can do, and I'm going to leave the rest in God's hands. So see where love and fear are working in your life. and do more loving things, say more loving things to yourself, and really ask yourself the question when it comes to anger, sadness, disappointment. Ask yourself the question, why? Why do I feel anger? Why do I feel resentment? And when you really dig deep with the 3-letter word why, you will come to discover that it's really fear-based. It's really fear-based. I'm not talking about, when you lose a loved one and stuff like that. That's real sadness there, because they're not on this earth plane anymore. But when you feel things like anger and resentment because of people, situations, and places, it's usually deeper than the surface level anger or whatever that first emotion is. It's usually rooted in some kind of fear. Find your fear and free yourself. Find your fear and free yourself. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.